Welcome back, friends. Let us continue into the world of Python. Into this video, we are going to look at a multi-level if statement, which is called the if-elif-else. Now, this is like you can think of it like a big brother of the normal if-else statement, where instead of just checking, for example, if more than three do this, we also check for, let's say, one or more other conditions. For example, else if a is less than 3, in short, that's called elif, a less than 3, then do this. Else, of course, if none of these holds, then this condition comes in, right? Now we are going to see this as always, as before rather, in context of the game that we were developing, which is this Prof's Grumpy Assistant. Remember, we had a situation where our assistant wanted us to give him a word which is of 8 letters and has three vowels, right? So we have counted that the word has indeed 8 letters. So I'm already inside this if. I'm doing this only if only if the word has 8 letters. Now I count the number of vowels. We have done this also previously using the count block, using the count statement, rather the count method. Now I'm going to, decide if my assistant can be. I'm going to decide how the assistant will react depending on how many vowels I've got, right? Now think about it. The requirement was to get three vowels, but there are really three scenarios, right? The first scenario is that I could have more than three vowels, or I could have less than three vowels, or I could have exactly equal to three vowels, right? So now these are the three distinct situations, and I have to now accordingly decide three responses from my assistant, right? From a wise assistant. So what's going to happen is that I can write, for example, if count vowels is say greater than 3. Now remember, count vowels is this variable just here which takes into account, which basically tells us the total number of vowels in that particular word. So I can say count vowels is equal to 3. Of course, I must put a colon here, but there's no other bracket, no nothing required. I come in here, it automatically creates an indentation. Now this means is that I have given too many vowels to the you wanted three, but I've given say more than three, so I can say oof. Remember, the prof's assistant is very hard to please, so he says, oof, you gave me more than three vowels. And I can say wasting my time, perhaps, right? You are wasting my time. I needed only three, right? Only three. Now, that is the case when it has more than three vowels. What happens if it has, let's say, less than three vowels, or it has exactly equal to three vowels, right? So the first thought might be that I can go and say, okay, I can go and say else over here. I must put a colon, and then I can put another if condition, and I can here say if count vowels, for example, is say less than three. Now remember, this is a distinct condition from count vowels more than three. So you can say that, okay, I can put if else condition and another if else condition inside there, right? But thankfully for us, Python provides us a more compact representation. What we can do is to combine this else and if into an elif statement. I do not need a colon over here, but I do need to bring this condition back up here, right? So I'm going to say elif count vowels is less than 3. Again, I put a colon over here, and now I'm going to just take these two statements and put them back here, right? So I put take them here, and again I must make sure they're logically indented. So remember, these blocks must fall in the elif condition, these statements rather, and hence I must indent them accordingly, right? So you can say if it's less than three vowels, you say, well, that had, you can say, you gave me, I'll just keep it simple, you gave me, say, less than three vowels, right? And I say you tried to act smart, but I caught you, right? Because I wanted three and you gave me less than three. So you tried acting smart. Uh, I caught you, right? Now, what happens if this thing has exactly three vowels, right? Now, notice here that we have already covered all the situations possible. So, more than three, less than three. Hence, we can just put this. Okay, I have to be careful here. This is part of the print. I come in here and I can just indent it back and say else, which means this is a situation. I can write a small comment. Exactly, say, three vowels. And now I can, basically I can go and say, well, the assistant will never be happy. So, he says, what? I mean, you gave me exactly three vowels. So what? Say exactly three vowels. Exactly three vowels. Maybe I can ask a question mark here. and it looks like you're not really motivated, right? So you're not putting any effort. You are not motivated. You do not put extra extra effort, right? So I mean anything like that, right? But the point here is that now if we can test this code, we'll do that now. Basically there are three, it's like a three-way if statement. If count of vowels is more than three, we say this. If count of vowels is less than three, we do this, and otherwise, which is if there are exactly three vowels, we do this, right? So let's just see this code working. As always, going to go through the three questions. So I say verbs here. Give me a native English word. So for example, let's say I try rotation. We have seen the exact same, uh, words earlier. Now count vowels here is four, but so that's why it went into count vowels more than three, and it said, oof, you gave me more than three vowels. I'm wasting my time. I needed only three. Let's take another example. So first one, of course, I'm going to say verbs. This time, let's say I answer stoppers. Stoppers has two vowels, so count of vowels is less than three, so it did not go into this. Instead, it came into this condition, and it said that okay, look, count of vowels is less than three. Hence, it prints. You gave me less than three vowels. You tried acting smart, but I caught you. And next, let's say one more example. I say okay, this is verbs. Next question, let's say I answer it as say circular. Circular. Right now, this has got exactly three vowels. That's why I came here, right? So I do want to highlight one point that this is almost like the if statement in the sense that it's like a multi-level junction. However, the evaluation is happening from top to bottom, right? So first it evaluates this condition, next this condition, next whatever conditions, and finally the else condition, right? So I hope this is clear. But before we move on, before we wrap this up, I'm going to just give you a little bit of sort of visualization of this whole thing. So this is actually quite an interesting visualization. Let's say you're at the airport and you want to go to your particular gate. So what do? You start looking from the top, right? Okay, if it's my gate within this number, I go in this direction. Else if it's in this number, I go in this direction. Else and else if here and else here, right? So exactly the same, we go from top to down. And also it helps to see the equivalent scratch code for this. And this is actually quite interesting because as we were discussing earlier, we could the only way to do this kind of statement in scratch would be to put an if else inside an if else, right? And notice that's okay because it also illustrates that this if else is really a more compact version of kind of this statement, and that's why it's useful, right? So I hope you found this interesting. Take care. Thank you so much. Bye bye.